Jake Miller stood in front of the mirror in his small room. His hands shook as he tried to fix his tie. Today was his wedding day. But this was not like any wedding he had ever imagined. He was going to marry an alien. Jake worked as a diplomat on Haven Prime, a space station where different alien races came to trade and make deals. For 3 years he had lived here and learned about many strange beings from across the galaxy. But he never thought he would marry one of them. The Veltar Coalition had been at war with Earth for 5 years. Many people had died on both sides. The fighting needed to stop. The leaders of both sides wanted peace, but they needed something strong to make the treaty work. They decided that a marriage between a human and a Veltar would show that the two races could live together. Jake had volunteered for this job. He was single and he believed in peace. He also knew more about alien cultures than most humans. The choice made sense, even if it scared him. Captain Lisa Brooks knocked on his door. She was his best friend and his boss on the station. "Jake, are you ready?" she asked as she came into the room. "I think so," Jake said. His voice sounded nervous. "Do I look okay?" Lisa smiled at him. "You look fine. Are you sure about this?" Jake had asked himself the same question many times. "Someone has to do it, Lisa. If this marriage can stop the war, then it's worth it." "But what about love? What about having a real family?" Lisa asked. Jake looked down. "Maybe those things aren't meant for everyone. Besides, the Veltar don't think about marriage the same way we do. This is just a political deal for them." Dr. Ryan Carter walked into the room. He was Jake's closest friend and would stand beside him during the wedding. "The ceremony starts in 1 hour," Ryan said. "How are you feeling?" "Like I'm about to jump off a cliff," Jake answered. Ryan put his hand on Jake's shoulder. "You're doing something important. History will remember this day." Jake nodded, but he still felt worried. He had studied the Veltar for months, but he still didn't understand them very well. They looked like walking crystals, tall and thin with smooth, clear skin that seemed to glow from inside. They were very smart and logical. They never showed emotions like humans did. They spoke in a formal way and seemed cold to most people. Jake had met his bride-to-be, Zara Velthani, only 3 times before today. Each meeting had been very formal. She spoke only when necessary and always used diplomatic language. She was beautiful in a strange way, but she seemed as cold as ice. Jake wondered if she even wanted this marriage, or if she was just following orders like a soldier. The wedding would take place in the main hall of Haven Prime. Representatives from Earth and the Veltar Coalition would watch. The ceremony would follow both human and Veltar traditions, though Jake didn't know much about the Veltar parts. Jake put on his formal uniform. It was blue with gold buttons, the dress uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. He looked at himself one more time in the mirror. He looked like a soldier going to battle, not a man going to his wedding. "Time to go," Lisa said softly. They walked through the corridors of Haven Prime. The station was busy today with visitors from many worlds. Jake saw humans, Veltar, and other alien species all walking together. This was what peace looked like, Jake thought. Maybe his marriage would help make more days like this. The main hall was full of people. Half were humans from Earth's government and military. The other half were Veltar, standing perfectly still like statues. Their crystal bodies caught the light and made rainbow patterns on the walls. Jake walked to the front of the hall. His heart was beating fast. At the other end, he could see Zara approaching with her own group. She wore something that looked like a dress made of flowing crystal fabric. She moved gracefully like she was floating rather than walking. Elder Kethrin, an old Veltar who was like a father to Zara, stood at the center to perform the ceremony. He was taller than the others and his crystal body was darker, showing his age and wisdom. Jake and Zara met in front of Elder Kethrin. Jake looked at his bride. She was even more beautiful than he remembered, but her face showed no emotion at all. Her large eyes looked at him for a moment, then looked straight ahead. "We gather today to join 2 beings from different worlds," Elder Kethrin said in his deep, musical voice. "This union represents hope for peace between our peoples." The ceremony began with human traditions first. Jake and Zara spoke vows about working together and respecting each other. Jake meant every word, even though he felt like he was reading from a script. Then came the Veltar traditions. Elder Kethron spoke in the Veltar language, which sounded like singing crystals. Zara answered in the same language. Jake didn't understand the words, but they sounded serious and important. Finally, Elder Kethron spoke in both languages. By the laws of Earth and the traditions of Veltar, I declare you joined as partners in life and peace. Jake and Zara looked at each other. There was no kiss, as that was not a Veltar custom. Instead, they touched hands briefly. Zara's skin felt warm and smooth, not cold like Jake had expected. The crowd clapped and made approving sounds. Representatives from both sides looked pleased. The first part of their plan had worked. Now came the hard part, actually living as husband and wife. As people began to leave the hall, Jake realized that his real wedding day was just beginning. Tonight, he would be alone with Zara for the first time. He had no idea what to expect from his new alien bride. Jake walked beside Zara through the corridors of Haven Prime toward their new shared quarters. Other people they passed smiled and nodded, but Jake barely noticed them. His mind was full of questions about what would happen next. The diplomatic team had given them a larger room than Jake's old one. It had 2 beds, a sitting area, and a small kitchen. Jake had seen it before, but now it felt different. This was where he would live with his alien wife. Zara walked into the room ahead of him. She moved to the center and stood very still, looking around. Jake followed her inside and heard the door close behind them with a soft sound. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Jake didn't know what to say. All their previous meetings had been formal, with other people present. Now they were truly alone for the first time. The ceremony went well, Jake said finally, trying to break the silence. Yes, Zara replied in her musical voice. The representative seemed satisfied. Jake sat down in one of the chairs. I guess we should talk about how this will work. Living arrangements, daily routines, that sort of thing. Zara turned to look at him. Is that what you wish to discuss first? Something in her tone made Jake pause. He had expected this conversation to be practical and businesslike, like everything else with the Veltar, but Zara sounded different somehow. Well, I thought, Jake started, then stopped. What do you think we should discuss? Instead of answering, Zara moved to the room's control panel. She touched it with her crystal fingers and the lights began to dim. The room became softer, warmer. Jake watched her with confusion. What are you doing? Preparing, Zara said simply. Preparing for what? Zara stood in the center of the room again. She closed her eyes and became very still. Then something amazing happened. Her crystal body began to glow with a soft, warm light. The light pulsed gently like a slow heartbeat. Jake stared in wonder. He had never seen a Veltar do this before. In all his studies, in all his meetings with them, they had never shown this behavior. Then Zara began to make sounds. They were not words, but musical tones that seemed to come from deep inside her crystal body. The sounds were beautiful, like singing but more pure. They filled the room with harmony. Jake felt something strange happening to him. The sounds seemed to touch something inside his chest. He felt calm and peaceful, but also excited. It was like listening to the most beautiful music he had ever heard. Zara, Jake said softly. I've never seen Veltar do this before. What is it? Zara opened her eyes and looked at him. For the first time since he had met her, her face showed emotion. She looked nervous, even frightened. This is... She paused, searching for the right words in English. This is how my people truly are. I don't understand, Jake said. Zara's glow faded a little. What you have seen of my people, what all humans have seen is not complete. We do not show our true selves to outsiders. Jake leaned forward in his chair. What do you mean? The way we act in public, the formal speech, the lack of emotion. This is how we must behave around others. But this is not who we really are. Inside, Jake's mind raced. You mean the cold, logical behavior is an act? Not an act, Zara said carefully. It is necessary, but it is not our true nature. She began to glow again, but softer this time. In private, especially with chosen mates, we are very different. We have practices, traditions, ways of being that we guard carefully. Jake stood up and moved closer to her. Why haven't humans ever known about this? Because we have never trusted any other species enough to show them, Zara said. This knowledge is sacred to us. We share it only with family, only with those we bond with, for life. And you're sharing it with me? Zara looked down. This frightens me, Jake Miller. No Veltar has ever shared these secrets with a human. I do not know if your people can understand what I am showing you. Jake felt his heart beating faster. Try me. Help me understand. Zara took a deep breath. Among my people, when two beings join in marriage, there is a ritual, a sharing. It is how we truly become connected to each other. What kind of ritual? We call it the harmony of hearts. We share our emotions, our deepest feelings, through resonance. Your human scientists would say it is vibrational frequencies, but for us it is much more. Jake was amazed. You're saying that Veltar have emotions? Strong emotions? Stronger than humans, I believe, Zara said. That is why we must control them in public. If we let our true feelings show around others, it would be overwhelming. We might lose control. Jake thought about all the Veltar he had met. They had seemed so cold, so distant, but now he wondered what they were hiding inside. That's why you seem so formal and emotionless in public, Jake said. You're not emotionless at all. You're protecting yourselves. Yes, Zara said, and protecting others from the intensity of what we feel. She began to make the musical sounds again, and her body glowed brighter. This is what I am, Jake Miller. This is what my people are when we allow ourselves to be true. Jake felt the sounds washing over him again. They were beautiful and powerful. He could feel emotions in them, joy, sadness, love, fear, hope. It was like Zara was speaking to him in a language of pure feeling. This is incredible, Jake whispered. Zara stopped the sounds and looked at him with worried eyes. Are you frightened? Does this seem wrong to you? Jake shook his head. No, it's amazing, it's beautiful. But I don't understand why you're showing me this. We barely know each other. Zara's glow faded until she looked almost normal again. That is what I must tell you next, and it may shock you even more. Jake waited, his heart pounding. This marriage was arranged by our leaders, Zara said slowly. But for me, it was not just duty. I chose to accept this arrangement for a different reason. What reason? Zara looked directly into his eyes. I have been watching you, Jake Miller. For months I have studied you from distance. I have seen how you treat others, how you work for peace, how you try to understand my people. And I have developed feelings for you. Jake felt like the air had been knocked out of his lungs. You have feelings for me? Strong feelings, Zara admitted. Among my people we mate for life. We do not give our hearts lightly. But my heart chose you before. Our leaders even suggested this marriage. Jake stared at her, trying to process what she was telling him. This marriage was not just political for her. She actually cared about him. I know this is much to accept, Zara said. And there is more. The ritual I spoke of, the harmony of hearts. If you agree to it, we will share emotions directly. You will feel what I feel, and I will feel what you feel. It is more intimate than anything humans do. Jake's mind was spinning. Everything he thought he knew about this marriage, about the Veltar, about Zara herself was changing. What if I can't handle it? Jake asked. What if human minds aren't built for that kind of connection? Zara's face showed fear. That is what terrifies me. If this fails, if I am too much for you, it could ruin everything between our peoples. Jake looked at this amazing being who had just revealed her deepest secrets to him. She was not the cold, logical alien he had expected to marry. She was someone with powerful emotions who had chosen him, who was willing to risk everything to share her true self with him. Zara, Jake said softly. Show me. I want to understand. I want to know who you really are. Zara looked at Jake with surprise and hope in her crystal eyes. You truly want to experience this, even knowing the risks? Jake nodded. Yes. If we're going to be married, I want to know the real you. Zara's body began to glow again, brighter, this time. Then I will show you what no human has ever seen. She moved to sit on the floor and gestured for Jake to sit across from her. The harmony of hearts is not just about sharing emotions. It is about sharing everything, our fears, our joys, our deepest thoughts and dreams. Jake sat down facing her. How does it work? I will create a resonance frequency with my crystal structure. If you are willing, and if your mind can adapt, you will begin to feel what I feel. But Jake, you must understand what you are about to experience may be overwhelming. Why? Jake asked. Zara closed her eyes. Because we Veltar do not feel emotions the way humans do. When we feel joy, it is like a star burning inside us. When we feel sadness, it is like the darkness between worlds. When we feel love, she opened her eyes and looked directly at him. When we feel love, it is like the force that holds galaxies together. Jake felt his breath catch. And you feel love for me? Yes, Zara whispered. From the first time I saw you helping a lost child find his parents in the marketplace, from the moment I watched you spend hours learning our language to speak with our ambassador, you showed kindness and respect when others showed only fear or business interest. Zara's body began to vibrate softly. The sound was so low Jake felt it in his bones rather than heard it with his ears. I am beginning the resonance now, Zara said. If it becomes too much, tell me to stop. Jake felt something strange happening. The vibration seemed to move through the air and into his chest. At first it was just a gentle warmth. Then it became something more. Suddenly, Jake could feel something that was not his own emotion. It was like a wave of feeling washing over him. But it was not overwhelming. Instead, it felt like coming home. Oh, Jake breathed. I can feel something. That is my contentment, Zara said softly. I am happy that you are willing to try this. The feeling grew stronger. Jake could sense Zara's emotions as clearly as his own. Her contentment felt warm and golden, like sunlight on his face. This is amazing, Jake said. I can actually feel what you feel. Now you will understand why we must control ourselves in public, Zara said. Feel this. The emotion changed. Jake suddenly felt excitement so powerful it made him want to jump up and run around the room. It was like being a child on the best day of his life, multiplied by 10. That's incredible, Jake gasped. Is that how you feel excitement? Yes. And this is sadness. The emotion shifted again. Jake felt a sadness so deep and vast it was like looking into an endless ocean. But it was not painful. It was beautiful in its depth, like a sad song that touches your heart. Now you see, Zara said. If we felt these emotions at full strength, around others it would affect everyone nearby. We learned long ago to keep them contained. Jake was amazed. But this is wonderful. Why hide something so beautiful? Because not all emotions are pleasant, Zara said, and because the intensity can be dangerous. But there is more I must show you. The emotion changed again, and Jake felt something that made his heart race. It was love, but not like any love he had ever felt. It was powerful and deep and endless. It felt like gravity, like magnetism, like a force of nature. Zara, Jake whispered, is this how you feel about me? Yes, she said, and Jake could hear the fear in her voice. This is why I was terrified to show you. This is how strongly my people love. Once we choose someone, it is forever. It is complete. It is everything. Jake felt tears coming to his eyes. The love he was feeling from Zara was so pure and strong, it was almost painful. But it was also the most beautiful thing he had ever experienced. I had no idea, Jake said. When I agreed to this marriage, I thought it would be a cold political arrangement. I never expected this. Are you frightened? Zara asked. Is it too much? Jake thought about it. The emotions he was feeling were incredibly strong, but they did not feel wrong or dangerous. They felt right, like this was how emotions were supposed to be. No, Jake said. I'm not frightened. I'm amazed, and I'm honored that you would share this with me. Through their connection, Jake felt Zara's relief and joy. It was like a burst of warm sunlight. There is something else, Zara said, something that may shock you even more. What? You are not just feeling my emotions, Zara said. I am feeling yours as well, and what I sense from you is unexpected. Jake concentrated and realized she was right. He could feel his own emotions, more clearly now, as if seeing them through Zara's perception. What do you mean? Jake asked. Your capacity for emotion is much greater than we believed, Zara said with wonder in her voice. We thought humans were limited in their feelings, but you can match my intensity. Jake felt surprised. Really? Yes. When you feel love, it is as deep as mine. When you feel compassion, it burns as bright as a star. Your emotions are not weaker than ours, they are just different, more flexible. Jake could sense what she meant. His emotions felt more fluid, more adaptable than hers. Where her feelings were like deep, powerful currents, his were like quick-flowing streams that could change direction easily. This is why the connection works, Zara said with excitement. Your emotional flexibility allows you to resonate with my frequency without being overwhelmed. You adapt to match me. Jake felt a growing sense of wonder. So we're actually compatible? More than compatible, Zara said. We complement each other. My deep, steady emotions provide stability. Your flexible, adaptable emotions provide balance. They sat in silence for a moment, sharing the amazing realization. Jake could feel both of their emotions mixing together, his wonder and excitement blending with her joy and relief. Zara, Jake said finally, I need to tell you something. What? When I agreed to this marriage, I thought I was sacrificing my chance for love. But sitting here with you, feeling what you feel, I realized something. What is that? Jake looked into her crystal eyes. I think I'm falling in love with you. Real love, not because of duty or politics, but because of who you are. Through their connection, Zara felt the truth of his words. His emotions were honest and pure. The love growing in his heart was real. Jake, Zara whispered. Do you understand what this means? I think so. It means this marriage doesn't have to be just political, it can be real. Yes, Zara said, and her joy was so bright, Jake felt like he was sitting in sunshine. Among my people, when two beings can share the harmony of hearts successfully, it means they are truly meant to be together. Jake felt his own love growing stronger, fed by the connection they shared. So what happens now? Now we complete the bonding, Zara said, if you are willing. What does that involve? We share our deepest memories, our greatest fears, our highest hopes. We become truly connected, not just for tonight, but for life. Jake thought about everything that had happened. An hour ago, he had been a nervous diplomat entering a political marriage. Now he was sitting across from someone he was beginning to love, someone who loved him in return with an intensity he had never imagined possible. Yes, Jake said without hesitation. I want to complete the bonding. Zara's entire body blazed with light. Then let me show you my memories and you show me yours. Let us become one heart and two bodies. As the resonance between them grew stronger, Jake realized that everything he thought he knew about aliens, about marriage, about love itself was about to change forever. The resonance between Jake and Zara grew stronger. Jake felt like he was floating in a warm ocean of shared emotion. Then, suddenly, he began to see images in his mind that were not his own memories. He saw Zara as a young Veltar, learning to Control her emotions in a crystal garden on her homeworld. He felt her loneliness as she practiced hiding her true feelings. He experienced her first glimpse of humans when the diplomatic teams arrived, and her curiosity about these strange, warm beings. Then he saw himself through her eyes. He watched, as she observed him from a distance during his first weeks on Haven Prime. She had studied how he interacted with different alien species, how he always tried to find common ground instead of focusing on differences. "You saw me before I ever noticed you," Jake said with wonder. "Yes," Zara replied. "You were so different from other humans. Most of your people were polite but distant with us. You were genuinely interested in understanding." Jake felt her memory of watching him help a young Veltar child who had gotten lost during a trade meeting. While other humans stood back nervously, Jake had knelt down to the child's level and spoken gently in broken Veltar language until the child's parents arrived. "That was when I knew," Zara shared through their connection. "You did not see us as strange creatures to be feared. You saw us as people." Now it was Jake's turn to share. Through the resonance, he showed Zara his memories of growing up on Earth, his fascination with the stars, his dreams of meeting other intelligent life. He shared his first day on Haven Prime, his excitement and nervousness about working with aliens. Zara experienced his memory of their first meeting. Through Jake's perspective, she felt his awe at seeing her crystal beauty, but also his disappointment at her cold, formal behavior. "I wanted to show you my true self even then," Zara sent through their connection. "But I was afraid. No Veltar had ever attempted to bond with a human. We did not know if it was possible." As they continued sharing memories, something unexpected began to happen. Jake found that he could not only feel Zara's emotions, but he was beginning to understand the resonance itself. His human mind, with its natural adaptability, was learning to work with the crystal harmonics. "Zara," Jake said with excitement, "I think I can do it too." "Do what?" Jake concentrated, trying to create his own harmonic frequency. To his amazement, he began to produce a soft humming sound that resonated with Zara's crystal body. Zara's eyes went wide with shock. "That should not be possible. Humans do not have crystal structures. How are you creating resonance?" Jake smiled. "I think it's because humans are natural mimics. We learn by copying others. My vocal cords are adapting to match your frequency." The connection between them suddenly became much stronger. Now Jake was not just receiving Zara's emotions, he was actively participating in the harmony. Their feelings began to blend and amplify each other. "This is incredible," Zara whispered. "In all our history, no other species has been able to participate in our emotional resonance. You are doing something we thought was impossible." Jake felt a surge of pride, not just his own, but Zara's as well. Through their bond, he could sense her amazement at his adaptability. "Humans have always been good at adapting," Jake said. "It's one of our strengths. We learn new languages, new customs, new ways of thinking. I guess that includes new ways of feeling too." As their connection deepened, Jake discovered something else amazing. His human emotional flexibility was not just allowing him to match Zara's intensity, it was enhancing it. Where her emotions were deep and steady like an ocean, his were quick and dynamic like lightning. Together, they created something neither could achieve alone. "You are making my emotions more flexible," Zara said with wonder. "I can feel my rigid patterns becoming more fluid, more adaptable." "And you're making my emotions deeper and more stable," Jake replied. "I feel more grounded, more centered than I ever have before." They spent hours sharing memories, emotions, and dreams. Jake experienced Zara's deep love for her people and her fear that the war would destroy them. Zara felt Jake's passionate desire for peace and his willingness to sacrifice his own happiness for the greater good. But as they shared more, both realized that sacrifice was no longer necessary. What had started as a political arrangement was becoming something real and beautiful. "Jake," Zara said as dawn light began to filter through their window, "there is something else you should know." "What?" "The bonding we have shared tonight. It has changed us both permanently. We are now connected in a way that cannot be undone. You will always be able to sense my emotions, and I will sense yours. Jake thought about this. Even when we're apart? Yes. The bond extends across any distance. My people call it becoming two hearts that beat as one. Instead of feeling trapped, Jake felt excited. So we'll never really be alone again? Never, Zara confirmed. Does this frighten you? Jake reached out and touched her crystal hand. Even without the active resonance, he could feel her emotions through the connection. Her love, her hope, her lingering fear that he might reject what they had become. No, Jake said firmly. It doesn't frighten me. It makes me feel complete. Through their bond, Zara felt the truth of his words. His love for her was growing stronger every moment, fed by their shared experiences and deepening understanding. There is one more thing, Zara said. The bond we have formed will also enhance our abilities. My logical processing will be sharpened by your intuitive insights. Your emotional intelligence will be deepened by my analytical nature. Jake was amazed. So we'll be better together than we are apart? Much better. It is why Veltar mate for life. The bonding makes both partners stronger, smarter, more capable. As the night ended, Jake realized that everything about his life had changed. He was no longer just a human diplomat who had married an alien for political reasons. He was half of a bonded pair connected to Zara in ways he was still discovering. What happens now? Jake asked. Zara smiled, and through their bond, Jake felt her excitement and anticipation. Now we show both our peoples what is possible when two species truly connect. We become ambassadors for a new kind of relationship between humans and Veltar. Jake felt his own excitement building. You mean this could help more than just the peace treaty? Yes. What we have proven tonight, that humans and Veltar can bond at the deepest level, changes everything. It means our species are not just compatible for trade and treaties. We are compatible for true partnership. Jake thought about the implications. If humans and Veltar could form emotional bonds like theirs, it would revolutionize how the two species related to each other. But will our people believe it? Jake asked. Will they accept that a human and Veltar can truly love each other? Zara's confidence flowed through their connection. They will have to. The bond between us is real and powerful. They will be able to see it in how we work together, how we understand each other, how we complement each other's abilities. As the sun rose fully, casting rainbow patterns through Zara's crystal skin, Jake realized that his wedding night had been nothing like he expected. Instead of an awkward political arrangement, it had become the beginning of something wonderful. He was no longer just Jake Miller, human diplomat. He was Jake Miller, bonded mate of Zara Velthani, bridge between two species, proof that love could transcend any barrier, and he had never been happier in his life. Jake woke up the next morning feeling different. The bond with Zara was still there, a warm presence in the back of his mind. Even though she was sleeping beside him, he could sense her peaceful dreams. When Zara woke up, they looked at each other and smiled. No words were needed. Through their connection, they shared their happiness and amazement at what had happened between them. Good morning, my bonded mate, Zara said softly. Good morning, Jake replied. I can still feel you in my mind, it's wonderful. They got dressed and prepared to face the world as a truly married couple. Jake wondered how others would react to the change in them. Would people be able to tell that something profound had happened? Their first test came at breakfast. Captain Lisa Brooks and Dr. Ryan Carter were waiting for them in the station's dining hall. The moment Jake and Zara walked in together, both humans stared in shock. Jake? Lisa said slowly. You look different. Jake and Zara sat down at the table. Even this simple action was different now. They moved in harmony, automatically coordinating with each other in a way that seemed natural. We are different, Jake said with a smile. Ryan studied them carefully. Something has changed. You two seem connected somehow. Zara spoke up. We have completed a Veltar bonding ritual. Jake and I are now linked emotionally and mentally. Lisa's eyes went wide. Is that even possible? I mean, you're different species. Apparently it is possible, Jake said, and it's amazing. To demonstrate, Jake thought about his favorite memory from Earth, watching a sunset over the ocean. Through their bond, Zara received the memory and smiled. I can see it, Zara said. The orange and pink sky reflecting on the water. It is beautiful. Ryan leaned forward with scientific interest. You can share thoughts? Memories, emotions, feelings, Jake explained. We're still individuals, but we're also connected. Elder Kethran approached their table. The old Veltar moved slowly, but his eyes were bright with curiosity. Young Zara, he said in his musical voice. You appear radiant this morning. Zara stood and bowed respectfully. Elder Kethran, the bonding was successful. The elder's crystal body began to glow with amazement. Truly, a human was able to participate in the harmony of hearts? Not just participate, Zara said proudly. Jake adapted to our resonance and enhanced it. We achieved a deeper bond than I thought possible. Elder Kethran studied Jake with new respect. This is extraordinary. In all our history, no other species has been capable of our emotional resonance. Jake stood and bowed, as Zara had done. It seems humans are more adaptable than anyone realized. Word of their successful bonding spread quickly through Haven Prime. By midday, representatives from both Earth and the Veltar Coalition were requesting meetings. Everyone wanted to understand what had happened. Jake and Zara met with Admiral Chen, the head of Earth's diplomatic mission, and Prime Resonance Velthara, the leader of the Veltar delegation. Explain to me what this means, Admiral Chen said. Are you saying that humans and Veltar can form genuine emotional bonds? More than that, Jake replied. The bond enhances both partners. I can think more clearly and logically now, while Zara has become more flexible and intuitive. Prime resonance. Velthara's crystal body hummed with interest. Show us. Jake and Zara looked at each other and nodded. They had prepared for this moment. On the table before them was a complex trade dispute that had been puzzling diplomats for weeks. Working together through their bond, Jake's intuitive understanding of human motivations combined with Zara's logical analysis of Veltar needs. In minutes, they had identified a solution that satisfied both sides. Remarkable, Admiral Chen murmured. You solved that faster than our best teams. We can see the problem from both perspectives simultaneously, Zara explained. The bond allows us to understand both species' needs at the same time. Prime Resonance Velthara leaned forward. What you have achieved changes everything. If humans and Veltar can bond at this level, our species are not just allies. We are potential partners in the deepest sense. Over the following days, Jake and Zara became the focus of intense study and interest. Scientists from both species wanted to understand how the bonding worked. Diplomats wanted to know what it meant for future relations. But the most important changes were in the day-to-day interactions between humans and Veltar on Haven Prime. Seeing Jake and Zara work together so perfectly, other members of both species began to interact differently. Humans started to understand that Veltar emotional control was not coldness but discipline. They began to appreciate the depth of feeling that lay beneath the crystal exterior. Veltar began to see human emotional flexibility not as weakness, but as a valuable complement to their own steady nature. They started to open up more, sharing aspects of their culture they had never shown to outsiders before. Jake found his new role both exciting and challenging. He was no longer just a diplomat, but a bridge between species. Through his bond with Zara, he could help humans understand Veltar perspectives and help Veltar understand human viewpoints. Zara experienced similar changes. Her enhanced intuition made her better at reading social situations and finding creative solutions to problems. The combination of her logical nature with Jake's emotional intelligence made her incredibly effective at negotiations. 3 months after their wedding, Jake and Zara were asked to establish a new program, the Interspecies Understanding Initiative. Their job was to help other humans and Veltar form closer relationships, not necessarily romantic bonds, but deeper friendships and working partnerships. "Do you think other couples will be able to bond like we did?" Jake asked Zara one evening, as they worked on their new program. "Perhaps not exactly like us," Zara replied through their connection. "But I believe humans and Veltar can form deep connections if they are willing to be open and vulnerable with each other." Their first test case was Dr. Ryan Carter and a young Veltar scientist named Kayla Vesran. Ryan had been fascinated by Veltar biology since arriving on Haven Prime, while Kayla was curious about human medical techniques. Jake and Zara arranged for them to work together on a research project. Within weeks, a genuine friendship had formed. While Ryan and Kayla did not achieve the deep bonding that Jake and Zara shared, they developed a mutual respect and understanding that surprised everyone. "Look at them," Jake said, watching Ryan and Kayla collaborate on an experiment. "They're learning from each other." "This is what we hoped for," Zara agreed. "Not everyone will bond as we did, but everyone can build bridges." The success of the Interspecies Understanding Initiative led to even bigger changes. Trade relationships became partnerships. Military cooperation became genuine alliance. The cold peace that had existed after the war was warming into real friendship between the species. Jake and Zara found themselves at the center of these changes. Their bonded partnership became a symbol of what was possible between humans and Veltar. But more than that, they were living proof that love could transcend any barrier. 1 year after their wedding, Jake and Zara stood in the observation deck of Haven Prime, looking out at the stars. Ships from Earth and the Veltar worlds moved back and forth in peaceful trade and cooperation. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" Jake asked. Zara's love and contentment flowed through their bond. "When I first saw you helping, that lost child, I hoped. But I never dared dream it would be this wonderful." Jake felt the same contentment. His political marriage had become the love of his life. His diplomatic duty had become his greatest joy. "What do you think the future holds?" Jake asked. Through their bond, Zara shared her vision of the future. Humans and Veltar working together, exploring the galaxy side by side, sharing knowledge and dreams. It was a future of partnership and understanding, with their own bond as the foundation. "Whatever comes," Zara said aloud, "we will face it together." Jake smiled and took her crystal hand in his. "Together," he agreed. As they stood there, connected in heart and mind, Jake realized that what had shocked him most about his wedding night was not any single moment, but the discovery that love was far more powerful and adaptable than he had ever imagined. Love had not only bridged the gap between two different species, it had created something entirely new and wonderful. Their marriage had started as a symbol of peace. It had become a symbol of possibility. And Jake could not wait to see what other miracles love might work in the galaxy.